unfortunate soul. Hi everyone, Simply Rye here, and I am here with a special guest.
Hello.
My partner, with my first ever movie review. And we are going to be reviewing the live action Little Mermaid that just came out on this past Friday, the 26th. We first saw it on the 25th, and then we saw it again actually today on the 28th. But before we do continue, I do want to give a spoiler alert here for anybody who has not seen the film and wants to get their own opinions first before continuing with this video. But what did you think of the movie? Out of a 10, what would you give the movie? And then I'll tell you what I gave the movie.
I'd give it a 9.
Okay. I would give it a 9.8 because there's little parts of the film that I feel could have been done better, but I overall love the movie. I think to give you a little bit of a back, we watched the animated film first, and then we went to go see the movie the following day, and we wanted to compare those just a little bit and see what we liked about, to see how closely it followed the animated film. And it did follow it pretty much, except for they did a few twists here and there. Overall, I'll start off with like the visuals. I thought the CGI was good. And the underwater scenes were pretty good as well. I felt like the first time we saw it, which was in regular standard film, and then today we saw it in 3D. I felt like today it was clearer.
It was clearer, yes.
And it could have been because of the 3D that they made it clearer, but the overall film felt a little bit brighter and clearer, in my opinion. What did you feel about the visuals?
I thought the visuals were very well done. It seemed very realistic, that everything flowed really well. It seemed the ocean areas were very vibrant and very pretty, and it was a seamless transition between being above the water and in the water, and everything looked natural. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a really good job with any of the visuals, yes. Very stunning settings as well, even above the water, yes.
I agree with you on that. I think everything, when it came to the visuals and the CGI, it was pretty realistic. You can tell that it wasn't real, but I mean, I think with any CGI, you can pretty much tell it's not real. But it looked really, really good. Like the underwater creatures, Ariel with her swimming, basically everybody under the water and the creatures under the water, I felt looked pretty real as could be. The characters, I feel like Hallie did amazing as Ariel. Melissa McCarthy did amazing as Ursula. After seeing it today, I was smiling at Melissa because I felt like that was a perfect choice. But we've discussed this before. We felt like Jinx Monsoon, the drag queen, would have killed it as well. I think she would have done an amazing job as Ursula, but I think they did cast Melissa perfectly to have a big name on the movie. But I overall feel like Melissa did great. Triton, the actor who played Triton, I felt did good. Let's see, Vanessa, the actress who played Vanessa, for the little role that she had, I felt like she killed that. Now for the characters who were, what would you say, like, they made it more realistic, like Flounder, Sebastian, And, of course, Scuttle. Scuttle, I can kind of see, it's a bird. But I think, like you mentioned before, that with Flounder, you lost the... What did you say? You lost
There's an endearing quality about Flounder in the cartoon animated version.
Mm-hmm.
There's a likability about Flounder. That's still there. I think Flounder can grow on you. It's just that the fish looks so real that you lose that adorable quality, I would say, to Flounder that I feel that the character needs. The voice is spot on, but that particular character, because it looks so realistic, you lose some of those qualities that we have grown to love about Flounder from the animated version.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, what you said about Scuttle. Scuttle looks great.
Yes.
The character is easy to follow. You still get the...
I think Awkwafina also made that character likable, and didn't matter whether it was a animated character or a real life looking character. But I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it was a fun character. I really like Scuttle a lot. Let's talk about Sebastian for a second. I'll say this.
Uh-huh.
Sebastian grew on me throughout the movie. Sebastian gets a slightly larger role in this film adaptation, live action, as opposed to the animated version.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that this particular character or voice actor that plays Sebastian has a slightly higher pitched voice, and he doesn't claim to be a singer, which you can tell in the movie. But I just think that some of the songs that Sebastian sings in this particular film, they could just be a little bit stronger because the character's voice is higher pitched, and when you need that those lower tones that Sebastian normally has, that really brings that to life. So the actual speaking parts I didn't like, and singing parts quite as much for Sebastian, but the character really did grow on me throughout the film.
I agree that Sebastian did grow on me throughout the film as well. Before we get more into the music, though, I feel like they've given Sebastian more of that expression feel than they did Flounder. But Flounder also didn't have that big of a role as he did in the animated film. And it seemed like they put all the focus on Sebastian being the main sidekick.
And I remember us talking about this. I think it's because Flounder has to be in the water.
Yeah.
And Sebastian doesn't. So I think that might have been part of the decision.
Yeah. And then also, since we're on characters, what did you think about the actor who played Eric?
Actually, I didn't know if I was going to like Eric or not from the previews. Loved him. Thought he did a great job. It's the right look. It's the right voice. The character was very strong. Do you want me to speak just from an acting standpoint or also from a singing standpoint?
Well, let me give y'all a backstory, too. My partner went to school for this, so he also has background in theater. And he also has a master's in music, so he is very knowledgeable when it comes to how singers sing a particular song and all that. But go ahead.
Well, on that note, I'll just say I really they added a song for Prince Eric that's not in the animated version, and the song was great. I just think that in some places, especially in the first verse, the way that the song is composed, it's almost as if the character could choose a lower note towards the beginning, and when you hear it, you'll know what I mean. The actor chooses to go up multiple times, and if he would choose to go down or choose a lower note on that first verse, it would make, when he does go to a higher pitch in the second verse and towards the ending verse, it would have made that stronger. Still great. I'm not criticizing the voice, and I'm not criticizing the song. I just wish there were some other choices that would have changed the levels a little bit.
Well, I think everybody has their own opinions on songs and how people sing the songs, and some people may like it, some people may not, and you've expressed that there are just different choices you would have made throughout, and that he does have a good voice. But I mean, since we're going on the songs, I feel like that song in particular was not really my favorite out of all of them. I don't think it was memorable. They did give the what is it, the sound, the background music, the melodies, what is it, the instrumental of the songs throughout the movie that kind of brought you back to that song. But if they did not do that, I don't think it would have been that memorable. To me, it was good. I think he did a great job. The choices, like you mentioned, I feel like would have made the song stronger as well. But I think every song on this film, for the most part, was great. Halle did amazing. I think she did amazing on all the songs that she had. Another song that I wasn't too fond of was Under the Sea. And that was because, like you mentioned, his voice wasn't as deep as the original Sebastian. And listening to it again today, I also felt like it wasn't as strong as the original.
Well, he has to speak most of it, which does work for the song, but it's more of a spoken sound as opposed to an actual sung verse.
Yeah, and then when Halle came in, I felt like it made the song a lot better. And I personally got goosebumps when she would sing those parts.
Well, just to throw it in there, Halle gets to sing, or Ariel gets a part in Under the Sea when she didn't have that before, so that's neat. Speaking of Halle, really quick, I wanted to just make a point to talk about Part of Your World as a big song that's in the movie. I'll say, I've talked to you about this before. I really like the emotion that the song gets in this particular film versus the animated version, in the sense that she slows it down. She takes a few more liberties, so you actually get a sense of how the character feels. I've also talked to you about there's a couple of choices that she makes that I would not necessarily have made. It almost takes away from the character a little bit, in my opinion. However, the song overall is very strong, it's very emotional, and it's very powerful. It's effective. So I really like that. And we can't talk about that one and not talk about Scuttlebutt. Can we bring that one in?
When I first heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's like a kid's bop song. But then, like, after the movie, it's just stuck in your head.
Well, and we know Lin-Manuel Miranda added some lyrics, and you know you're going to have that feeling of being in Hamilton again, so you're going to get that rap in there, so that comes into play with Scuttlebutt, and that's kind of a cool addition to the film when you see it. I think you'll really like that. It kind of sticks. I mean, I can't remember all of the rap, but we definitely remember the Scuttlebutt.
Yeah. That's pretty much the goal of trying to get someone's attention or liking the song is what can that song do to get stuck in your head. So they did a great job on that. But don't want to get too much into the music, so I just want to really move on to just touch briefly on the other songs. So I loved the new songs that they put in for Halle. And it really gave you that insight that even though that Ariel can't talk, that you're hearing her thoughts throughout the process, which I thought was a really great touch to the movie. And even though I feel like Halle did amazing with the role, especially with not a lot of talking in the role, that with those songs, you got to hear what her emotions were feeling during that time. So I really loved those songs that they added into it.
And speaking of additions and thoughts, this movie's quite a bit longer than the animated version, if you want to speak to that.
It was almost 2 hours and 30 minutes as opposed to the normal animated film of 1 hour and 30 minutes. But they did go more into depth about this, about the story, which I loved, that we didn't get in the animated film. And overall, I personally love this story more just because it gave us more in depth of Ariel, the story of the Little Mermaid.
The second half of the film as well is more developed than in the animated version. In the animated version, once she gets her legs, even though she technically had 3 days, the end of the animated film, I mean, it just goes, because I remember thinking about this when I was watching it, it goes from, one part after the other. It is very fast once she gets her legs to the part where she's already back in the water again, and the fight with Ursula, and the actual live action movie takes much longer to get to that point. There's a lot more character development.
I agree. I personally feel like they could have made it a little bit shorter, but I'm not mad at it. And then going back to the overall story, I appreciated the changes that were made in this film. I see a pattern that Disney likes to give more of the princesses in these live action movies more of woman empowerment, which I appreciate and love as well. And they did these little changes to where Ariel, basically at the end, the roles were reversed from the animated film. So Eric was the one who Ursula was trying to kill, and then Ariel was the one who steered the boat and killed Ursula. So I thought that was a great overall change of the story. Another thing I liked as well was the spell changed as well. Of course, she takes her voice. They gave a twist to where they go back to sirens lure men to fall for them over their voice. So that was a reason to take her voice. And that kind of was like, oh, okay, that's why she's taking her voice. It's not the communication part. It's the whole mermaid siren singing, persuading the prince to fall in love with her. And then on top of that, Ursula also put a spell on Ariel to where she forgets that she needs to kiss the prince. And it makes it... There's a gnat. It makes it more organic when it comes to the love story, and not just her focusing on, oh, I need to get this kiss so I can stay human and for him to love me, blah, 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 blah. It's more of the let's get to know each other and fall in love organically rather than her just focus on the kiss. What did you think about the changes?
I thought it was great. I don't necessarily think I have a lot to add there. I think it adds to the character development. They get to know each other more, and it's a more of an organic development between the two characters instead of her just focusing on the kiss the whole time. They really have a chance to go on an adventure, and it really ends up being more of a love story because of that.
Okay. Well, don't want to make this a long review, but overall, what is your take of the film? Do you prefer the animated film, or do you prefer the live, or do you like them both equally?
I think both films have their own merits. I would say after seeing this new film, we tend to gravitate towards something new. This is a very strong film, and I really like the way that it's done. And I'm not giving away the ending, but I like how powerful the ending is in this particular film, where they all stand in solidarity together, and that is something that's very special. And I think this film is very special all in itself. So I do think that both films can stand on their own. But to answer your question, I'll go out on a limb and I'll say I like this new one better.
I agree with you. I love both films, the original and this one, but I will also go on a limb and say I like this one a tad bit better, just because it goes into more depth about the story of Ariel, and also it goes into depth more, if you don't catch it in the animated film, that Ursula and Triton are siblings. And then I also love the diversity of that they made with the sisters, and that they're sisters of the ocean, and they're togetherness. And then I also like the diversity of how they introduced Eric's mom, or adopted mom, because he is adopted in this film, so there's a spoiler there. And the only thing I didn't like is that they didn't really tell us what happened to his dad, or if she even was married, or there's a king. There was no story there, which I wish they would have went into detail there.
Just to add to your point, the diversity of the whole cast, human and mermaids and mermen, like all of them, very diverse.
But I do miss the animated endearment, like you mentioned, that you would have gotten from Flounder and more of the underwater characters. But with that being said, that's the only little thing that I honestly felt was missing. But for those of you who are like, oh, Flounder's scary, you literally don't have to see him except for maybe like 5 minutes of the movie. Other than that, Sebastian's character was great. Scuttle was great, had a bigger part in the movie too. And I think overall the whole cast did great. And I would say this live action is one of the best live action that Disney has done.
Agree.
But overall, we both agree that this movie was a great movie. We saw it twice, so we definitely recommend you go see it. And then just let us know below what you think. But before I do let you go, I am doing a giveaway for this upload as well. It's going to be what you see here. I had an extra Ariel, and then I had an extra Vanessa, and then I also, at the Draft House, they gave away a limited edition sketchbook and sticker that I'll also be giving away. So this will be a big kind of like, yay, this movie was amazing giveaway. So the only things you'll need to do to be able to win this is you must be subscribed to my channel, comment down below whether you liked the movie, or if you plan to go see it, or you just don't want to go see it. Just be respectful in the comments, because I know some people push more towards the animated film, because of course that's what we all grew up with and we love. But this is also another story that can stand on its own, and also is something I am now going to consider a whole new in-depth story of Ariel and the Little Mermaid in general. But yeah, all you have to do, subscribe, comment, and I will pick a winner 1 week from I'm filming. So I'm filming now on the 28th. So on Sunday the 4th, I will choose a winner, randomly selected. I'm going to comment on your comment to email me, and you will have to send a screenshot that you are following me, and we'll go from there, and I'll collect your information. But other than that, I appreciate you watching this review. I hope you enjoyed, and be on the lookout for more movie reviews and also other content. Have a great day, and Simply Right out!